Absence. Nothing. Vast, empty absence. You could say that it was darkness, if such a thing existed. But it doesn't. It's just nada. No whys, no whos, no wheres, no hows, no whats, no ifs, ands, or buts. Just absolute vacuum. And suddenly, here I am. Whatever I am, who knows? Who is who anyway? Who's what? Where's when? No up, no down, no left, no right. No idea. I just am that I am. I exist. I have no clue as to where I am or what this is or what's happening. Just lost in this empty vastness. And I spend eternity in that form, in that state, that statelessness, that onlyness. Eventually, feelings, urges, concepts, ideas begin to emerge. Questions arise. I want to know who I am. I want to know where I am. I want to know what I'm doing, what's happening here. It's frightening. I feel what I can only describe as being fear, though I have no concept of that definition yet. I feel it. So I begin to devise a strategy. I'm going to try to use this vacuum, this vast emptiness to explore. But explore what? During this attempt at exploration, I begin to find that the vacuum, the void, the emptiness seems to be reflecting what I am. I look upon the waters and my face appears. And so, in this reflection, I'm capable of examining myself. And me, I, being the only thing that's existing, it is the only option I have to try and figure out what I am, what this is. And so I use this reflection. And it's seamless. It's seamlessness. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't have any reason or purpose. So, the idea I come up with is to try and pick it apart, examine its pieces. I become mechanical in nature. So, I divide myself into pieces. And at once, suddenly, there is 1 second. There is another. Something beside me that I've somehow managed to manifest. And in that, eternity is born. Just foreverness. Endless, ongoing existence, a reflection. Myself and I. So, myself and I, we begin to pick apart the pieces, breaking it into values that we can identify in some way. We can define them, and in doing so, we can explore them. And we continue to pick apart these pieces until we have effectively created what seems to be somethingness, an existence. There is a plot emerging. we begin to notice that there is something to us. There seems to be some sort of a meaning behind all of this. And so we keep picking apart the pieces, we keep placing them, we keep adjusting them, manifesting them, organizing them. Eventually, we begin to even name them. We come to know them as something being aside from ourselves. And in knowing, in understanding these pieces, in comprehending the values, the shards of ourself that we have used to create this reality, suddenly there is light. Light is shed upon the situation. Understanding is born. And we continue to do this until eventually we have created effectively a reality, an existential somethingness that is seemingly real to us. And in the act of dividing, in the act of placing, organizing, in the act of reflecting upon ourself, a concept of time passing becomes evident, an illusion that something is ongoing, transpiring. Suddenly eternity is elsewhere and we are in an ongoing process. And in this time, we get lost in this illusion. And we find that comforting because we're no longer alone. We're no longer lost. We're somewhere. We're something. We're being. And this is just the most ecstatic of enterprises. We're now existing. There is a world becoming. And in our lostness, in this illusion, we begin to dream. Meanings emerge. We begin to devise meanings for things. And we forget that ultimately examining ourselves, escaping the never, the ultimate existential absolute situation that never has happened, that we have existed in absolute absence. We forget that that is the reason that we began doing any of this in the first place. But that's okay because we're devising new reasons. Each value is a reason. Each piece that we pick apart is a reason that we've devised to serve a purpose. And in devising these purposes, we now have an agenda, a plan, a plot. Something is happening. We're telling a story. And so we continue to tell this story. And for each piece of ourself that we break off and define as being something other than what we are, we have reasons, we have purposes, meanings. Something is happening that matters. It's of importance. And this plot seems to have some sort of a plan. We're figuring something out. Something is happening. We're getting somewhere. But the closer we get to getting to that somewhere, the more distance we put between ourselves and ourselves. The more distance we put between the ultimate reason and the illusory reasons that we are now creating, that we've been creating, continue to create. And these reasons are purposeful, they're important to us, we cherish them, we are investing in them, we invest love in them. Ultimately, that is what love is: our investment, our reason, our caring for, our concern, our determination, our plan. And suddenly, although suddenly, eternally, the world is born. Worlds happen. We have created worlds upon worlds upon worlds that are existing in and of themselves, of their own admonition. So we let these pieces wander. Each one of them is a piece of us. Each one of them is alive. We come to find that they are, in fact, intelligent. That these pieces of ourselves, each value, is like a hologram containing the information of the whole, of course, because it is what we are, each piece. But each shard has now identified itself. It has the same ability that we do because it is us. It is me. It is I. Each piece is me, is what I am. And so each piece has effectively Kamui Siari, the power of heaven, the power to create. And these pieces begin to create their own realities. And those realities create their own realities, and on and on and on throughout eternity. As it is, as it has always been, as above, so below. It is what it is. I am that I am. And each piece begins to forget that it was once actually us, that it is actually me. And the pieces wander about, creating their own realities, getting lost in their own illusions. But each piece remembers on some level, even though they've created what we could call souls. They each have a mind of their own. Somewhere in that mind, somewhere at the base root, they all remember the reason that we are loving for the sake of it, that we are being loving for the sake of effectively escaping the simple fact that there is no reason. Not at least nothing that we can discern, but we continue to search for it. We continue to search for that meaning. Each piece remembers that it is alone. We are all one. We are alone. But each piece also remembers that we are searching for that meaning, that reason. And so life happens. Pieces move about, each one ultimately remembering the never, the nothing, the fear of that, the impending damnation of being lost alone in nothingness, in absence. In and of itself, I am nothing. I have no definition but that which I give myself. And so we each feel that fear deep down, and we see divisions amongst us, and we forget that these pieces are the same as us. We forget that namaste, we are each, one and all, the Creator, all as one. Kamui Ausi Siari. We are, in fact, the power of heaven creating itself. We are the act of creation in and of itself. And our only true reason or purpose is to seek that meaning, to figure out what we really are. When, in reality, we are deciding what we really are. And so in this we have a trinity. We have the remembering of the absence, the never, fear of that, the requirement for us to escape that, find a way out. We have the remembering of our seeking for the meaning, for the reason, seeking to figure out what's happening, who and what we really are. And we have the act of decision, the remembering that we are in fact creating everything. And those three things combine to become this, the illusory dream that we exist in. It is our paradise. It is our Garden of Eden. We have created a place where we can be something, where we can exist as an entity that is alive and loving and caring unto itself. However, that fear will always be there, and because of it, each piece that we see, having forgotten that that piece is actually us, that we're all together, all one, we tend to have a fear of these pieces, and we treat each piece as though it were a threat to us in some level. It becomes an instinct to survive because we believe that there is such a thing as death. We believe that there is an absence that we will return to. And we fear that. We don't want to go back there. We don't want to go back there. We want to find a way out. And so, fearing this death, this impending doom, we fear each other. We treat each other as though we were a threat, and we become, in a sense, dangerous. Each one of us. Forgetting to remember that we are all one, we treat the divisions as though they were an enemy, a threat. And war ensues. And it's been happening. It's been happening. You could say, in a sense, it's been happening since the beginning of time. Yet, in ultimate reality, it simply is happening. There is no time. Time is us. It's what we are. Now, getting past that simple story, that origin story of the superhero that the human entity actually is, we are using our mind, our body, our spirit to create. The body obviously is an organism. It's our manifestation. That's physics. That is memory. Memory is anything that remembers to be what it is. That's what memory means. That's what memory is. It is one fundamental element. Then there is the motion, the movement, the time, the spending of time, the passing of time, the change, the ongoing, ever-present changing of our memory, which is gravity. Gravity is that which binds, it's that which moves, it's that which holds things together, and that what causes things to shape and to alter and to move about. And then, of course, we have the consideration of each other. We have the reflecting upon each different piece, the divisions defining themselves only in the sense that they are different in some way from other divided pieces. That's relativity, as we could call it. It's ultimately reflection, but it is really simply an existence concept. It is the idea that we are using to define ourselves right now. We are only in relativity to what we are not. Hot is only hot because it's not cold. Up is only up because there's a down. Good is only good because there's such a thing as bad in our consideration. But we decide that decision is the element there. Reflection. Currently, we are using the existence concept of relativity, which was given to us by Albert Einstein in 1905. However, it wasn't actually him that invented it. Although he is the poster boy, he did take credit, but a lot of people put effort into making that happen. That was coordinated. People that know that we are using an existence concept. Spotters, much like myself, much like you, much like all of us here in the initiative, and many others all over the world. A lot of people put effort into making relativity happen, but by technicality, Albert Einstein invented the relativity existence concept, which becomes the third primary element. Memory is that which is. It's just substance. Gravity is that which moves, that which binds, that which alters. Is time. Relativity is that which defines, that which arranges and coordinates in the sense that I am that I am relative to what I am not. That's simple. These three elements, these three primary fundamental elements, combine to become physics, which is our ultimate rule. Beyond physics, first rule is there is no first rule. We define reality, we create everything. It comes from that divine spark, that first light, that sense of understanding when we looked upon the waters and saw our reflection and became something. The power of heaven was granted, and physics is born. Everything is physical, everything has a form, everything has a body, a shape of some sort. Everything moves according to the mapped out schematic that we have created. Memory, gravity, relativity. Long ago, we used an existence concept that we could aptly call superstition, really. We just went ahead and decided, we didn't have any rules or laws in place, and this was chaotic. It was impossible to coordinate. And so relativity was necessary. We created it. We created relativity so that we could have a stable foundation upon which to build our world. And we have used it very well in a certain sense. In other senses, we've made some really pretty grave mistakes. But I should like to say that there is no such thing as a mistake. Everything that we've done serves a purpose. Everything has a reason. Nothing happens without a reason. Only nothing happens without a reason. Everything else has a reason. Every last thing. If you can discern these reasons, if you can see the value of a thing, which is what a spotter is trained to do, if you can actually see the value of an object in play, you can not only determine how that object's going to move, what it's going to do, essentially what arrangements are going to come forth from it in coordination with others. At a certain point, you can actually start to direct it. You can manipulate it, control it. And a lot of people have done this. A lot of people know how to do this. And many of them do it for ill, to cause harm, to do wrong. And that's very sad. It's unfortunate, but it happens. And they're not at fault. Most people think that they're doing the right thing. Nobody wants to do the wrong thing except for, again, psychopaths, sociopaths, and very certain types, personality types that are sort of manufactured. They're not a naturally occurring personality type. And we'll get into that later when we have more information about it, but still, we're largely in the dark on it. We have a very good idea as to exactly what it is, where it came from, how it works. In fact, we've sort of reverse engineered the psychic technology that was used to devise these personality types, to design them, and to put them in play. We've reverse engineered that technology, and we in fact use it. We use it as best we can to do good and to do what is necessary to make positive results occur. And that's our reason. We all have a reason. Everybody has a reason. The people that do ill, the people that cause harm, most of them, they believe in their reason. And it's not their fault. They're confused. They're misunderstanding the situation. They believe that there is an enemy because of that original thought, that original reason. That the only way we can define ourselves ultimately is by asking simple questions: who, what, when, where, why, how. Where am I? I'm here. I'm always going to be here. There's nowhere else to be. Here is where I am. When am I? Now. It's always now, 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 now never stops happening. Always going to be now. Now plus here equals nowhere. Just a reminder, we can't get out of that. There's no way out. But we can dive deeper into it. We can create the illusion of a reality, and we can live in it, and it can be beautiful. It can be our paradise. It was always meant to be our Garden of Eden. We were never expelled. The Garden of Eden never left. It's everywhere. It is what we are, in fact. It's just, it is all there. It's the only game in town. You can't stop playing creation. There's no way out of that. You're always creating. If you don't know that you're creating, that's unfortunate. Because you are. You're creating everything. You, along with the other pieces that you coexist with, are co-creating everything that happens. Creating and recreating. As always, all of this has happened before. All of this will happen again. Unless we decide to change it, to make it better, to stop hurting each other, to stop hurting ourselves, to stop being so self-destructive, stop stealing the lifeblood of the planet and using it for our ridiculous commodities, our conveniences. Live hard. This is a rough world. Live hard. Be strong. Test yourself. Push your limits. You don't need gasoline to get around. You got feet at the end of your legs. We ask these questions: who, what, when, where, why, how. We have, when and where is nowhere. Who? Me. I. It's always I. There is no you. It's always going to be me. Who am I? I am me. I am whoever I am deciding to be at the moment. What? This. It's the only answer you can give that's always going to be correct. This. All. Everything. So, who am I? I'm one. I'm one. I am one. What am I? I'm all. I'm everything. All plus one equals alone. A reminder. It's always going to be there. Can't get out of it. Never escape that. But we can pretend that it doesn't exist. And that is, in fact, to our benefit. So, the last question to ask is how? And that one's ongoing. How indeed? You're deciding every moment. You snap to, you wake up, you realize that you're making these decisions. Status is here to help you understand precisely how you're making these decisions and how you can decide to change the way you are being. Decide to take control of your creation. Stop letting the illusion push you around. Stop letting other pieces of yourself make you be what you are. We're here to help you learn to do that. If you don't know how already, you can ask us. We'll tell you everything. We'll tell you everything. We aren't hiding anything. What I've told you here, this story, essentially this is the basic foundation of the so-called hidden knowledge that these secret societies we hear of think that they have under lock and key. They don't. There's nothing special about them. Nothing more special than any of us. In fact, status would have to be regarded as a special concern, considering that we do in fact know what's happening to a certain extent. We have a good idea, and we do know how. We do have an answer for how. We have so many answers for how. And we can help you find them. We can help you create your own answers. We can help you be whatever you want to be. That's what we're here to do. We just want to do that. These secret societies that seek to control you, they understand that value exists. They understand that reason manipulates matter. And they use that against you. They distract you. They manipulate you. They brainwash you. Day in, day out, all day long. And even to some very extreme degrees with certain people. And again, we're going to talk about that when we have more solid information about it. I don't want to present that theorem without having evidence to show, because it is somewhat negative in nature, and actually it is kind of frightening and frankly extremely disturbing. But we're working on figuring out a way to fix that problem. We're working on a way to figure out how to fix every problem. And all we want is for you guys to snap to, get with it, and help us do this. Help us fix it. A single one of you can't sit out there and tell me with a straight face that you don't know something's wrong here. We have a problem. We have a serious problem as a species. We need to deal with it now. I've seen what happens if we don't. You can believe me or not, but again, we have a protocol. Protocol 1, do no harm. Protocol 2, do not lie. Protocol 3, do not divide. We follow that protocol. Any operative of the initiative will never break that protocol unless it is a life-threatening situation. And even then, we'll make amends after. So you can trust me if you want to. You can believe me if you want to. I hope you do. Because if we don't take care of this now, things are gonna get pretty shady. Things are gonna get really tough. If you think you live, and believe me, I can tell you, I've lived the roughest life I've ever heard of. Aside from people who have been put in, you know, prison camps and tortured, I've been through some serious shit. I've been put through the grinder and back. You know, I've gone through the furnace. I'm burnt to the fucking core, but not broken. Not broken. And I can tell you that from my perspective, if we don't get together and make this happen, things are going to get really rough. Even by my standard, things are going to get very, very tough. So, please try to realize that you do, in fact, have that reason. We all share this same reason. It's time for us to get together, to blow off the illusory bullshit that we've been programmed to care about, and to put our efforts into kicking ass here and taking care of the only real enemy that exists, which is our division. Our division. Love you all. Wish you the very best. Again, I hope that you get with this, because it's very serious. I'm not fucking around with you guys. I don't know what else to say. I'm not fucking around. We need to do something now. And we do have a good idea of how to handle it if you guys will just get with us. So, thank you for time. Thank you all for helping to create this time. And thank you for the time you've given me in watching this video. Thank you for everything. Terveune, Siari, Kemwiasi, Namaste. See you next time.